Oblivious Insight, Abels' Journal of the Metaphysical. Chapter 1. Sinful Meta. I was born on the soul realm, in the plane of positive light, in the meta realm of the soul. My mother was described to me to be a platinum harpy. She was one of a kind. In ancient scrolls I found myths of one platinum dragon. I suspect either a relative or it was an aspect of this creator that gave birth to me. She did not survive my birth. I was told that she was raped by my father and left for dead. But other than that, I know nothing of my mother or father. The meta realm is a source of magical energy that seeps into creatures' bloodline, giving that being unique abilities. It came at first directly from the creator and now lingers in realms where that blood has been spilled, influencing the physical elements. You could define a meta realm as a bubble filled with planes, dimensions, and galaxies of stars all in one. Sharply, the light is divided by a prism, as too are the colors of the creator's soul divided into 7 meta realms by the 7 sins of his immortal children. Some of these children are powerful and like to play God. They are not gods, as I define one, but just more powerful immortals. Both the meta and the physical points I cover on the heptagram are all realms. Each realm has multiple planes that exist within its boundaries. Each realm has an appointed guardian that keeps the contents and creatures within. Likewise, that guardian is responsible for keeping other realms from influencing their own. In the rest of this chapter, I will cover the meta realms, who guards them and why, and what is on those planes. I must add that in each realm there are good and evil beings. Yes, good and evil exist in the abyssal realm and the outer bubble, just as it does here in this dwelling. Although, be it few and far between, but it does exist. I know this because I have met some good demons from the abyss, and good aberrations from the outer bubble. They are crazy, but good. A half-devil child even helped me escape from hell for no other reason than he had pity on my suffering. Likewise, I have met evil angels and malevolent, powerful immortals they serve. I judge this not only on their actions, but on their motives as well. My conclusion is that we all have a choice. Each guardian of the different realms is a one-of-kind creature. Each has a dragon-like body, but with the head of an animal or beast. These living sentinels are children of the Creator and very powerful. They are nor evil nor good. They are true neutral. They care little about the affairs of immortals or mortals, tasked with a tedious and never-ending contract to protect the realms they serve no one's interest, but sometimes find it entertaining to break up the monotony. The guardians of the meta realms are the infamous living gem statues from myth. These gem dragons are godlike, even in the eyes of the lesser dragons. Each is a cherubim, and all born from the fractured soul of the Creator. Soul meta. God's crux is at the heart of the heptagram, which I define as the soul meta. It is the pure light. The soul is defined as the spirit, or immaterial part of a being regarded as immortal. It also is the emotional and intellectual revealed from our deeds. So, in other words, the soul, mind, and body work together as one, similar to the Trinity of the Creator. First, the soul is the glue that holds it all together. Second, the mind creates the world and allows you to understand it. And finally, the body is the instrument that your soul and mind use to compose your experience. The guardian of the soul meta is a dragon made out of pure light, but has the head like that of a combination of a turtle and an elk. I have named him Falcor, in honor of a friend. His real name I cannot comprehend. He is the most curious of them all. Every time he interacts, he gets distracted by smells and tastes. The thing I find most fascinating is that when he chooses to walk instead of levitate, he limps on his front right leg. When I inquire, he always has another distraction ready. We have an inside joke. I will ask Falcor about his past, and he will respond, "Do you smell that?" "Yes, bull," I will reply. "You are what you eat." His response is always the same. Most beings try not to interact with him for this reason. Not to mention that when he appears, you instantly grow a third eye, which disappears within a day from his departure. Planes within the soul meta are the spirit, the dream, the nightmare, and the positive energy plane. The ethereal plane is where all spirits and souls originate and remain. What I've discovered is that simultaneously my soul is in my body and on this plane because the spirit plane is connected to everything that was and has a soul, interweaving all realms. When some die, well, not really die, just lose their bodies, they remain in this realm until they are ready to ascend or descend. This is where ghosts and specters come from because they have not chosen to move on for reasons known only to them. I have talked with ghosts and spirits, and some creatures born here who have never known what it's like to have a body. There is madness in death that some cannot forget or forgive. You would think that one such as me who is akin to a phoenix, would have lots of trauma. When I die, I am reborn. I retain all my experiences from that life and others before it. Maybe this experience is what gives me balance, because all others who are reborn forget. This curse or blessing causes them to make many of the same mistakes over and over. The planes of dreams and nightmares I have entered only a short number of times, for I do not require sleep. I meditate. Sometimes I have visions. I dream when I get knocked unconscious by an enemy in battle. I have found these dreams to be the Creator's way of speaking ideas through images, because an image is worth 1,000 words all at once. In your journey, if your journey takes you here, physically, then step lightly, for it is a place of wonder, and the dream gluttons will haunt your dreams, giving you nightmares in order to feed off of them. The most fascinating creatures here are the daymares and the nightmares, stallions, that roam the plains in thundering herds. Like I said earlier, I was created not in the material realm, but on the plane of positive light, positive energy within the soul realm. It is a plane of healing light, devastating music, and fearless creatures such as the white, gold-feathered serpent I call friend. One even chose me as an ally, and I can call upon Cain whenever I need him. I have found with enough time invested, your effort is rewarded, unless you wish to serve Falcor, because time does not pass when you enter his realm. You exit the very moment you entered. Any of these guardians will let you become a servant. In other words, you will become a dragon disciple. Notes. What does this mean in your game? Any creature from the spirit plane, or the positive energy plane of light, or from the dream plane, is a part of this meta realm. Any class or creature that draws his power from the souls lives within the meta. Everything from this realm gives off a white aura. Soul and divination magic effects and size are doubled in this realm. Divination magic allows you to learn secrets, find hidden things, and see the truth in any situation. Celestial meta. Celestial is defined as something positioned in the sky or space belonging to God, or supreme authority. This is the blue side of the Creator. It is the pride before the fall. Everything in this realm is vain and believes it has the right to judge on the Creator's behalf. It is the blue blood in the veins before it's exposed to the creation. Empowered by faith of their worshippers, they rule with malevolence or benevolence. On one side you have the heavenly mountains that are good and lawful. On the other side you have the valleys of the shadow of death and evil law. In between you have the golden archway and pumping blue valves of the Creator's heart. A river of life flows from the middle into both planes on either side. Time and landscapes here can change in an instant because each deity can control how fast or slow they want it to go. When I say shadow of death, I mean that the valleys are closer to the infernal meta realm. The only difference between a devil and an evil angel is where they draw their power. Devils have to eat souls to live because they had theirs taken by another devil or immortal. They hate the Creator and burn souls for power, while evil angels still have their souls and draw their power from those evil gods they serve. The guardian of the celestial meta is a sapphire cherub. This gem dragon's blue head resembles that of a catfish, with the mane of a lizard that he can expand to intimidate. This fan-like mane has golden chains, about 10 feet long, hanging from each pierced spike. Each chain ends in a holy symbol. Some of these I recognize to be good deities, and some evil. I call him Bishop, because I cannot comprehend his name, and Bishop means overseer. It is more of a title than a name. What I find most interesting when interacting with Bishop is that he seems to talk either to an imaginary friend or to himself more than he talks to you. It's like having a conversation with two people in one. I'm not sure if he was made to argue with himself or if it was the result of some horrific trauma. I have also found him to be very bad at lying for some reason. Summoning him can be a very good thing or a bad thing depending on his mood. He's always accompanied by one golden angel, one silver angel, and one mechanical angel. I am not sure if they serve him or if they just advise him. He always waits to hear what they have to say. Oh yes, I almost forgot the silence. In his presence, you are not able to speak unless asked a question from him directly. When he appears, the weight of your sin rests on your shoulders like that of anvils. I have seen some even get pinned to the ground by nothing other than their sin. This goes for deities and mortals alike. The silence and burden wear off after a day, but it still sucks being slowed and muted. Notes. What does this mean in your game? Any creature or class that draws their power from a divinity comes from this realm. Everything from this realm gives off a blue aura. Even the evil angelic reapers from the deity of Death's Valley give off a dark blue aura. Celestial and abjuration magic effects and size are doubled in this realm. Abjuration magic is anything protective in nature, like a shield. 3. Abyssal. Before I talk about hell, I want to talk about the abyssal, because there would be no hell if not for the abyss. And let's not forget the celestial realm are equally to blame. But they call it the infinite because it is a realm made of planes and universes much like that of the other meta realms. What I mean by that is that every meta realm is immeasurable. I've spent many lives trying to reach the edge of many different meta and not found it. What I think to be the edge often is just a door or window into another meta realm. Abyss is defined as a deep or bottomless chasm. Some believe the abyss existed before the celestial, but I believe that they started at the same time. Why, you ask? If celestial is the pride before the fall, then what makes them fall? I have found many interesting misunderstandings and conclusions from my dangerous journey through the abyss. Some about the place and some about myself. First off, the abyss is not complete darkness. There are areas of the ground itself that give off a purple light. Plants and creatures have purple glow that ranges from black to a light amethyst. It is always night here, which makes the time feel like it goes by at a snail's pace, but keeps punctuality with material meta. Some of the infinite planes that exist here are the negative plane and the shadow plane. Second, the very ground you walk on seeks to corrupt and destroy your mind, body, and spirit. Finding a place, plant, or creature that is not angry is almost impossible. In this meta realm, wrath is the sin that oozes up from the very ground. Madness is only kept in check with a firm foundation of self and the patience to see past the hate into saneness. Third, I have found evidence to support that the abyss was made by a creator with intention. I believe that it was created as a prison at first. It is designed to keep you in, and it is very difficult to leave. Once inside, it is designed to destroy you or corrupt you into destroying others. It is harder to escape from than hell. I will not go back on purpose because I need help to not only leave, but to remember who I am. When I realized I couldn't leave, I decided to delve deeper and deeper. I killed demon after demon as I fell from pit to pit. Slowly, I felt myself slipping away and becoming a tool of wrath and hate. Then one day, my frenzy found me face to face with the dark heart of the Creator. After talking with the dark heart, I realized that it is an aspect of the Creator. It is the embodiment of the homicidal and suicidal thought to destroy not only his creation, but himself as well. I believe that in each realm there are maybe aspects like this one, but I have not encountered another. That is when it all made sense. The Creator is at war with himself. I also understood now how the demon lords were made and why. The stone taught them to think, and then act, thus organizing the hordes and becoming a power, not a prison. Before I talk about the one who got me out, I would like to discuss what I discovered about myself. A part of me felt at home there, in the darkness. I found abilities I didn't know I had in this madness and rage. It felt natural. I mean negative abilities that I'm not supposed to have, but do. This leads me to believe, through reasoning, that my father may have been demonic in some way. Lilith is what I call her, because I cannot comprehend her name. Her title means one with the night. This cherubim gem dragon is completely amethyst. Her gem body and face look more bear-like, with a tongue that reminds me of a leech, and mandibles like that of a beetle. The gem scales on her are very fine and compact like hair. What I find most interesting about her is that I always have to explain a joke or metaphor. Out of all the cherubim, she is the most accepting and simple. Her greatest dream is to have a child of her own, but will never be able to. I almost asked her to adopt me as a son, but I know this would only make her angry. Summoning her is dangerous because when she appears, two effects happen. First is that you have no choice but to do the first thing she asks of you. Secondly, you are overcome by her stench of toxic gas that lingers on you for about a day. The purple gas drives all but demons that breathe it into madness, or causes demons to become sane. Fascinating, don't you think? Notes. What does this mean again? Any creature or class that draws their power from a demon or demonic plane comes from this realm. Everything from this realm gives off a purple aura. Abyssal and necromancy magic effects and size are doubled in this realm. Necromancy controls death, and undead. 4. Infernal meta. The war between the side of the creator that wants to destroy and the side that wants to create is what made the infernal realm. It is a war not really about good and evil, but more about law versus chaos. It is the red blood after it has been exposed to the sin of creation. It is the will to not only control, but to destroy if you cannot keep it. It is victory at all costs. Sin that started hell was not wrath like demons or pride like angels, but gluttony. In a way, gluttony is habitual greed. The difference between greed and gluttony is the motive. Greed is taking something because you desire it or think you deserve it, but gluttony is taking something so no one else can have it. Greed keeps things, but gluttony consumes them or destroys them so no one else can get them. See, angels are corruptible because they have souls. Devils are made to have no soul, but to eat them, making them the best nemesis of demons. This was the first part of the Creator's plan. The other two I will discuss on when I get to the body and mind elements in the physical chapter. The Infernal Meta is a place I was banished to by the evil star god, and abandoned by the god of the sun to be tortured. I endured unspeakable things. I lost count of the times I was tortured to death only to wake up the next day to new labor. The three types of torture are body, mind, and soul. When it came to the body, I was blinded, boiled, broken, branded, castrated, crucified, crushed, cut, deafened, dehydrated, denailed, disfigured, dismembered, drowned, dunked, filleted, force-fed, frozen, hanged, impaled, raked, racked, raped, roasted and eaten alive, skinned, starved, strangled, stoned to death, suffocated, tickled with metal brushes, teeth removed, walled with collar and chains, and whipped. When it came to the mind, they used sleep deprivation, sensory removal, confinement, fear, humiliation, rape, and intimidation. When it came to the soul, they made me do all those things I just mentioned above to someone else. The only reason I still have my soul is because I forgave my controllers, and more importantly of all, I finally forgave myself. The cherub of the Infernal Meta is a ruby gem dragon. This dragon-like body is normal for a dragon except for his head. His head resembles that of an eagle, with a beak that splits in 3 directions and 3 mandibles in between each section. I never encountered him in hell, but I have got to know him. I call him Faust, because I don't know his name. The title means lucky or fortunate. I was being a smartass, but he liked the name anyways. What I find interesting about Faust is that when he walks, he limps on his left leg. When I got a closer look, I noticed that some of his scales have a purple discoloration to them. When I inquired, he told me that Lilith did it, but he never says why. He is the most unpredictable of them all. I wonder what he is going to do at any moment. It ranges from talking to his left leg like a puppet, all the way to almost getting eaten. He does like to drink and smoke, which calms him down sometimes. On top of this, be cautious when you summon him. When he appears, he forces all in his presence to become ethereal. This exposes your soul, so if he does eat you, you're gone forever. Spending a day as a ghost can be fun, but dangerous. Fatefully, a half-devil Nephilim took pity on me, and broke me out of solitary. I thought we were caught when we reached the river, with a pack of devils closing in on us, with their guards and hellhounds. The river Styx is the lowest branch of the river of life, which goes all the way up to Celestia. If you swim with the lost souls, you lose your memories and your identity. We were stuck, deciding between a wave of mental suicide and a wave of unending torture. The last thing I expected was to be eaten by an enormous dragon. Luckily for us, he didn't swallow. Notes. What does this mean in your game? Any creature or character class that draws their power from a devil or infernal plane comes from this realm. Everything from this realm gives off a red aura. Infernal and illusion magic effects and size are doubled in this realm. Illusion deceives the senses and the mind. 5. Primordial. Primordial is defined as the foundation of existence, or existing from the beginning. This is the creation itself, or the systems that the Creator put in place. It is the laws of nature, space, time, and reality. It is the truth, or power, that defines what is physical. This meta-realm is the checks and balances that helps the other meta-realms by willing the physical into existence to balance the great wheel. Lust is the sin of this realm. Everything in this realm desires to be wanted, because they are always needed and reliable. Imagine wanting something you already have. You never have because you already have it. Green is the color of creation. It is the plague of lust, or the rotation of life, or the need of self-procreation. The guardian cherubim of this meta is an emerald gem dragon. The head of this emerald dragon is like that of a seahorse, with the hood of a cobra snake. I call him Horus, not because he looks like a seahorse, but because it means keeper of hours. Out of all the guardians, he is the most honest and detailed. Beware to ask him questions, for he will happily explain everything. I have learned much from him about what, how, and why of things. That is if I'm able to stay awake, because he always exhausts me mentally. Maybe I fall asleep from his hypnotic blinking instead of his overloaded of information. Not sure if the two are related somehow to each other. Summoning him has a price. When Horus appears, he comes with many things that happen. First, everyone in his presence can no longer understand each other. It just sounds like babbling or gibberish. It does make him easier to talk with because of the lack of interruptions. Secondly, your feet grow roots into the ground, making movement difficult, but will help with climbing. Third, your senses are heightened, giving you a better understanding of what you perceive. Finally, your skin itches in the light. When I asked him about this, he responded with not wanting his audience to not starve to death. I didn't realize it, that he gives you the same ability as plants, making it feed your body in the light, providing nutrients like photosynthesis. Notes. What does this mean in your game? Any creature or class that draws their power from nature or from the laws behind the creation originated on this realm. Everything from this realm gives off a green aura. Nature, evocation, and transmutation, magic effects, and size are double in this realm. Evocation is the gift of creation. Transmutation manipulates energy and power. 6. Draconian meta. Draconian is defined as a power or law that is excessively harsh or severe, that encourages either destruction or fertility. Dragons and dragonkin are the jaundice upon the greedy blood of creation. They are the yellow infection in the organings of the wheel. They were created to balance the wheel on a subjective level. Every dragon has its own demiplane or layer. These layers exist within the other meta realms. Out of these layers comes all manner of harshness. Sloth is the sin that masters most in these demiplanes. Most people think that a dragon only cares about treasure, but in reality they care only for themselves, believing all of creation deserves to wait on them hand and foot. There are many different planes. What I mean by this is that there exists a plane for every dragon ever born since the beginning of creation. The planes or layers are linked only by the bloodlines. One unlucky person who enters a baby red dragon's lair and travels the Dragon Breath Bridge without dying of old age could exit in an ancient red dragon's lair of some distant relative. I do not recommend this unless the uttermost need is required. Not only is it a form of time travel, but you may end up in a realm you are not equipped to handle and at the mercy of a powerful being. On top of that, entering and exiting a lair is a combination of skill, luck, and timing. The guardian of the draconic realm is a topaz cherub. This yellow gem dragon has the typical lizard-like head, except for his mouth. His mouth resembles a combination of an octopus and a snail. Each of the 7 yellow scaled tentacles ends in an eye. Upon closer inspection, I noticed that these eyes have nostrils instead of pupils. At the center of the mouth is a beak that looks like it has tremendous crushing power. I call him Chancellor Constantine, because I don't know his real name. The title means firm or constant record keeper. He was amused by my choice and finds it intuitive. He is remarkably short-tempered, especially when it comes to not serving or listening to him as if he was your father. I find him to be the most traditional and well-mannered as long as you treat him the same. I have found that he is deeply saddened at the questions about the layers. This may be because he has no home, and briskly spends his life protecting everyone's lair. This made me want to ask him if any of the guardians have a home. I refrained, out of kindness, but fear mostly. I recommend not looking him in the face, because the result is blindness for a day after he leaves you. If you can manage not to anger him, he will always bless you with some draconic ability you ask of him. Don't forget to say please and thank you. Otherwise, it will not last a full day and wear off when you need it. Notes. What does this mean in your game? Any creature or character class that draws their power from a draconian blood or from their lair originated in this meta realm. Everything from this realm gives off a yellow aura. Draconic and enchantment magic effects and size are double in this realm. Enchantment is controlling others, or giving abilities to others or items. 7. Material meta. Defined as the matter from which a thing can be made, or consisting of physical objects rather than the mind or spirit. The material meta is where and when most mortals are placed. This is what they interact with on a daily basis. It is where they live and where they die. After death is where it gets interesting. Well, at least I hope, because I have not really ever died and stayed dead. Here they have 3 dimensions of movement. This realm is the creator's imagination in motion. Here everything is moving, both planets and atoms. And it is the universe as you know it to be, a place where magic is not present, or a place of scattered spirit. This means it is easily influenced by the other realms, and their sin. I believe the separation of spirit, mind, and body is the creator's way to protect the realms from himself. In other words, the creator made a choice to not destroy everything, including himself. The darkness is the creator's suicidal thought, made real. I believe the dark heart is this suicidal thought, or the absence of God. If you pronounce it Abba Wrath, it makes sense, because Abba means father, and wrath means anger. So the word may mean an angry father. The sin that lingers here is that of greed. Greed permeates this realm because most of them know not what they do. It is all they know. The collection of more material is the goal here. Planes within this realm are the material and the god sand. I have covered this universe less because most see it. Now let me cover the god sand. As I understand it, it is like the sea bed of the astral sea, while the material is the reflection of the astral sea. The god sand is the back door to every realm, while the ethereal is the front door. It is a place of true neutrality. The closer you get to the center of creation, the less able you are to affect anything. In other words, the closer you get to the center of the infinite, the more power is stripped from you, leaving you defenseless in a sanctuary where no one can affect you anyway. The guardian of this material meta is an invisible cherub. She is a dragon made out of diamond. To my knowledge, the material and abyssal dragons are the only ones who act female. You see, they have no reproductive organs, and do not reproduce, hence, one of a kind. I call her Calypso, because it means concealer, or one who hides. I only know that she is diamond because she chooses to reveal herself to me. When she did appear, it was as a wondrous sight watching her move with such grace. Upon examining her body with a bird's vision, I noticed engraved runes all over her colorless body that one would not notice with a naked eye. I have never in all my travels encountered a language so mysterious. Instead of a normal dragon-like tail, she has one that I can only describe as scorpion in design. Her head is more bird-like, with a mane like a crystal peacock tail. Her personality borders on the line of interrogative. She always asks question after question and will always answer your question with another question. It reminds me of a child always asking why. Be careful when you summon her, for when you do, you will double your size, and then shrink half of your size when she leaves. Now that I think of it, all those effects from every dragon's presence only last a day at the most. How curious of a coincidence, don't you think? What does this mean in your game? Any creature or character class from the material plane or the god sand draws their power from the meta realm. Everything from this realm gives off a clear aura, like magnetism. Magic and supernatural abilities other than control over one's body are forbidden here. But any kind, if used here, is half as powerful as normal. 8. Planar meta. Planar is defined as relating to or lying in a plane, or that which planes are made from, or the spaces between spaces. The planar meta is made up of two planes. It only has two directions of movement, which are the link and the lock. The first is the astral sea. The second is the void. The astral plane is the transference between the planes and realms to allow them to stay connected. I would say it's like the nerves of the universe, allowing one to travel or speak to another at the speed of thought. However, even the ocean can't stop two ships from colliding and knocking against each other once in a while. The void is the insulation on the nerves of the universe to keep the spark from straying or to stop it altogether. What better way to insulate matter and energy from a vast their lack of? The planar meta is the spine of the creator, allowing the positive light and the negative darkness to interact with the rest of creation. Envy is the sin that floods this realm. Imagine having nothing of your own, but holding everyone's substance. Planar is the brown muscles of creation that have worked too long, like a bloody steak left on the table overnight. The guardian of the planar meta is a brown, stone, silver, and gold cherubim. He is the tiger's eye dragon, not only because he looks like the stone, but because his head is similar to that of a tiger, with horns. When he opens his mouth to talk, a tongue shoots out like a snake. This would not normally bother me, except the tongue ends in two sharp teeth, one on each side of the split. I call him Shaman, or Shamir, or both. If you put the titles together, it means mystical stone. I named him this because he appreciates the wonder in everything. You think someone who has seen and taken care of the nerves of creation would be bored to tears. The one thing I dislike about him is that he is always complaining about some different effect, which is happening somewhere in creation every time I see him. Beware to summon Shaman, because his company creates two effects. The first is that you are hastened, or able to move up to 4 times your normal speed. This can be difficult to get used to, without hitting yourself in the face or running into a wall. The second outcome that happens is you get polymorphed, or changed, into a random creature. Both of these can be useful for a day if you survive not crushing yourself and keeping your identity. Notes. What does this mean in your game? Any creature or character class from the astral or the void draws their power from this meta realm. Everything from this realm gives off a golden aura with the silver sparkles. Planar and conjuration and magic effects and size are doubled in this realm. Conjuration is a combination of summoning, teleportation, healing, metacreation, and calling objects and creatures or powers from other realms. The outer bubble I do not count as a meta, but a whole new metaphysical wheel, or multiple wheels. If I had to represent it, I would draw a circle around the 7-pointed star, because the outer bubble is alien and always moving. The best way to describe the idea is as chaos and unpredictable. Things are not as they appear here in the outer side. For example, you could take 2 metaphysical wheels and put them on top of one another. Then spin the top one to the fire element is over top of the water. This would mean that at that moment, fire may look like water, but have the characteristics of fire. Likewise, fire may look like fire, but have the characteristics of water. Now that you understand that, think about the meta changing. For example, it may look like a dragon, but may actually be a devil, or just have its abilities. It is a far more dangerous place than anything I have ever seen.